The Right to Work Legal Defense Foundation is working with Jewish and Israeli employees to protect their statutory and civil rights in the face of anti-Semitism. Can you discuss these workers' reactions to their unions supporting anti-Semitic and anti-Israel causes despite having a legal duty to protect the interests of all members they represent?
Thank you very much, Congressman Wilson, for that question. As I said in my statement, it is heartbreaking for me as a Jewish American and as a Zionist to have my phone ringing off the hook every single day since October 7th by students, workers, teachers, legal aid lawyers, doctors saying, how do I get out of this? I am surrounded by vicious people attacking me as a Jew, attacking me as a Zionist. I have friends in Israel. I have family in Israel. I have friends who served in the IDF, the most moral army in the world, perhaps second only to the United States Army, and they are attacked in their workplace. So that is the reaction that I am seeing. And unfortunately, I cannot say to all of these people, exercise your constitutional rights to get out, because under the National Labor Relations Act, they cannot get out. They are forced to be part of a bargaining unit and forced to pay dues to a union or be fired. And finally, although we've heard that unions have an obligation to tell people about their rights, in fact, few unions do. And if you look at the exhibits to my statement, you'll see that in Exhibit 5, for example, this is a pamphlet that the union at MIT put out to students. They say, you are required to sign up for either dues or agency fees as a condition of employment. The cost of dues and agency fees is exactly the same. That's a lie. The whole point of Beck is that the cost of reduced dues is different. You don't have to fund these obnoxious, outrageous political actions, but the unions lie and tell people they do.
Well, thank you for the Right to Work Committee for telling the truth.
Thanks for being here to testify before us today. Really appreciated all of your opening statements. I've made very clear to this committee my stance on unionization, which has been heavily influenced by my own state's success as a right-to-work state, the state of Indiana. And I'm supportive of federal right-to-work legislation because I recognize that under current federal law, workers' individual liberties and their right to make decisions currently concerning unionization are poorly protected. In your testimony, Mr. Taubman, you mentioned how some American unions are now discriminating against and threatening Jewish workers, and that has been especially prevalent following the October 7th attacks on Israel. What legislative reforms do you suggest to Congress that we should consider to protect workers' rights with respect to unions?
Thank you for that fantastic question. Number one, certainly, is a national right-to-work law. This shouldn't be a state issue. This shouldn't even be a partisan issue. Nobody tells you you have to join a specific church or a specific group, or you have to pay money to a private organization. That doesn't happen anywhere else in American life except for the privileged labor unions that have been doing this since the 30s and the 40s. That's the first thing, pass a national right-to-work law. The second thing is, if you're not going to pass a national right-to-work law, there are things like recertification elections automatically. Every member in this room stands for an election automatically every 2 years, every senator every 6 years. You know how often unions automatically stands for re-election? The answer is 0. They never have to stand for re-election unless the employees can band together to throw them out. And in a place like MIT with thousands of grad students that rotate through for 1 or 2 or 3 years, that will never happen. Ronald Reagan said the closest thing to eternal life on earth is a government program. I can tell you the closest thing to eternal life on earth for these unions is to represent a bunch of graduates.
Thank you.